I'm speaking on wisdom for emotional security. Wisdom for emotional security. There's a lot going on everywhere. Our streets are on fire with all kinds of sexual behavior, and we just live in that day and time where people are curious about everything. People want to explore in every negative place, and people are pushing things beyond the limits, not for good. People are pushing things beyond the limits, even in negativity and all. And the usual boundaries that used to be observed, generally speaking, the boundaries that people would usually observe when it comes to emotional matters and sexual matters somehow have thinned out so very much that it's difficult to even believe that there was once upon a time when these boundaries existed as an integral part of our ethos, our values, and our culture, you know. And it bothers me that there's a lot going on. There's just so much going on out there. There is craziness unleashed, right? There is madness on steroids. Our streets have been so sexified, so sexualized, so sexitized, and whatever else you want to use to describe it. So it's important for the regular guy and the regular girl out there to prepare themselves, right? To prepare themselves, to build firewalls around their own emotions so that they can keep their sanity, so that they can protect themselves, literally protect themselves. I'm bothered at what we now easily embrace as public display of sexual behavior. Sexual behavior has become so toxic that it is difficult to breathe, very difficult to breathe. However, I have some wisdom to share from the book, and let's take a read from the book of Proverbs chapter 7, and I'm going to be sharing some very serious wisdom with you from these verses of scripture, wisdom that would definitely help you, wisdom that will serve as a preservative to your emotions and help you navigate in these very uncertain times. In Proverbs chapter 7 from verse 4, now I'm going to read real quick, right? Real quick. From verse 4, say unto wisdom, thou art my sister, and call understanding thy kinswoman. These are good relatives to have, wisdom and understanding, right? Verse 5, that they may keep thee from the strange woman, from the stranger which flattereth with her words. So again, we see here that this wisdom is a preservative. So wisdom is a preservative. And we see that wisdom can keep someone from sexual perversion, from the strange woman, you know. And this is simply descriptive of some sort of sexual perversion or sexual unacceptable sexual behavior. So you need wisdom and you need understanding. Now verse 6, for at the window of my house I looked through my casement and beheld among the simple ones, I discerned among the youths a young man void of understanding. A young man void of understanding. So let's find the subject here. The subject is a young man who didn't have understanding. A young man void of understanding, passing through the street near her corner, and he went the way to her house in the twilight, in the evening, in the black and dark night. And behold, there met him a woman with the attire of an harlot and subtle of heart. Now, before I read up to the end, I like to unpack the last few verses. So first we see that the man lacks wisdom and he lacks understanding. And so we see that the actions that he's about to take are actions that are laden with foolishness, actions that lack wisdom, actions that lack understanding. He went the way to her house. I believe that there are certain relationships we're not going to take or we're not going to get into if we have understanding. He went the way to her house. Because he lacked wisdom, he went the way to her house. I believe it was difficult or impossible for him to discern what way to take in his life. The way here can refer to choices. The way here can refer to, priorities and activities. If we have wisdom, it will be easy to predict that there are certain destinations that we will arrive at if we enter into the doors of certain relationships. There are certain influences that we permit in our lives that will take us to a certain kind of place. Every man is a door, and every man leads to a specific experience. If you do not want some kind of unpleasant experience, there are certain kinds of people that you should never permit in your life, because the moment you permit certain kinds of people in your life, you have invited certain kinds of experiences. The permission of a relationship is an invitation to an experience. The permission of a relationship is an invitation to an experience. So the permission of a relationship is an invitation, or is the invitation to an experience. If you do not want to have certain kinds of experiences, then there are certain kinds of people that shouldn't come into your life. I have taught for some time that, for example, if you want to be very successful, look for people who carry some kind of influence, right? And then stick around with them, and that influence begins to rub on you, right? So if you know where you want to go, look for people who carry the influence that can push you in that direction. And as you stick around with them, what they carry will rub off on you, and you will find yourself going in the direction that you need to go. Don't invite certain people into your life if you do not want certain kinds of experiences. The permission of a relationship is an invitation to an experience. This experience will be good, bad, or ugly. So it's up to you. So do a proper assessment of the kinds of people you permit in your life, and that will clearly protect you from unwanted experiences. The right experiences will be transacted by the right people. And so if you want the right experiences in your life, you need to discern who the right people are and stick with them, and you will come into those kinds of experiences. So a young man void of understanding, passing through the street near her corner. Proximity is a key to possibility. Again, let's write that down together. Proximity is a key to possibility. Now, so first, he lacked wisdom, he lacked understanding, he made the wrong choices, he told the wrong course. And I said, when you have wisdom, you're very likely to get on a certain kind of a path and course in your life. When you have wisdom, you would get on a certain kind of course and path. When you lack wisdom, you're also going to make mistakes by getting on a course that will get you on the wrong destination. Every path is destination specific. Every course is destination specific. Every relationship is experience specific. If you do not want a certain kind of experience, then discern, do a proper assessment and discern what influence a person represents, a certain individual represents. And as you stick with them, then they open the doors for you to enter into that kind of experience. I've also said proximity is a key to possibility. Proximity is a key to possibility. So concerning this man in Proverbs chapter 7, that's where we're reading from, and we started from verse 4, and right now I'm in verse 8. passing through the street near her corner, near, proximity, near. There are certain people you have no business with. There are certain people that you must make efforts to stay far away from. You know something I learned about the life of the man called Lot? In one verse of scripture, the Bible says that he pitched his tent towards Sodom. I believe that is in Genesis chapter 13 or so. Genesis 12 or 13. He pitched his tent toward Sodom. You know, when he parted ways with Abraham, Abraham asked him to choose, and he saw these green lands that were well watered, and he chose them. And later on we see that he pitched his tent towards Sodom. But a few chapters later, maybe in chapter 18 or 19 verse 1, the Bible says Lot sat in the gate of Sodom. In the gate of Sodom. Proximity has a way of exposing you to influence, and you want to be sure that when you allow proximity to certain people, to certain kinds of places, it has to be that these people or these places carry the kind of experience that is beneficial to your life. The guy in verse 8, passing through the street near her corner, he went the way to her house. First, he was passing through, he was passing near, but he ended at her house. He ended at her house. Proximity is a key to possibility. Proximity is a key to possibility. There are certain people, I will repeat, that you have no business with. So in Genesis 13:12, he pitched his tent toward. It means that where he lived, a tent was where these people dwelt at the time. Toward Sodom means he woke up every day, he saw Sodom. He saw Sodom. Every day he was looking at Sodom. He was looking at Sodom. And you see, psychological research says that we move in the direction of our most dominant thoughts, right? What you keep looking at will inform what you keep thinking at. As a man thinketh, so is he. You are very likely going to be drawn to the direction of what you are thinking about the most. That's why we must guard our hearts with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life, right? Proverbs 4 and in verse 7, right? Proverbs 4 and in verse 7. Now, so back to the young man in Proverbs chapter 7. So he lacked wisdom, he toed the wrong path, and then he did not discern the influence. So Genesis 19 verse 1, perfect. Now, he did not discern the influence in the life of this woman enough to stay away. And I would say that he knew the influence really. I mean, I would rather say that he knew the influence in the life of this woman, but he thought that, you know, he could be around but not be stained. He could relate from a safe distance or something like that. There was proximity to the woman, and finally he ends up in her house. He ends up in her house. Passing through, verse 8, passing through the street near her corner, and he went the way to her house. Verse 9, in the twilight, in the evening, in the black and dark night. Timing is an environment that determines events. Time is an environment that can govern or determine events. So time can govern events. Let's take, for example, Jesus is speaking, I believe, in John 4, and he says, hey, let us work in the day, right? In the day we work, for the night cometh when no man can work. Now, from the context of what he said, he simply meant that, hey, there is a season where certain things are possible. There are certain times when certain things are easier or certain things are possible. And there's another season, there's another time where some things might be difficult. Now, in the twilight, in the evening, now, this verse also qualifies it as in the black and dark night. So this was very late. There are certain vices that thrive in the night time. The night is a perfect cover. The night is a perfect cover for certain kinds of events. Take, for example, I do not know of clubs that operate in the morning. In the morning, the guys who club at night are sleeping. They're sleeping in the morning. You know, clubs, these things open at night. And that's why sometimes you find someone ask you, what's the nightlife in your city? What's the nightlife in your city like? You know, what are the possibilities of the night? Hookers, right? And certain kinds of prostitutes, usually at night in certain red strict districts, you know, that's where they come out and do whatever it is that they do. Timing is vital to the governance of events. Timing is vital to the governance of events. When I was a young man, I didn't like to hang out late. You know, I had one or two friends who would really like to, they just like to hang out late. At 8, 9 was when they were beginning to be comfortable and all. For me, at 7, I thought, hey, I should be on my way home. I mean, as a young single man, I should be on my way home. If I was anywhere at that time, it had to be a meeting or some kind of important event or something, right? There are things that will not happen if you're not found in certain places at certain times. There are things that will not happen if you're not found in certain places at certain times. You're in a relationship with someone. What are you doing spending time at midnight together? You're at midnight together, you're still, you know, talking and laughing, and that's where certain kinds of possibilities begin to happen, right? When you're all by yourselves in the middle of the night and cuddling, cuddly, and singing jingle bells, and the bells begin to jingle until seeds begin to be sown, and then harvests begin to come, and we're surprised. You can avoid certain things. You can avoid certain things. You can avoid certain things. In the black and dark night, what was the young man doing out in the black and dark night? Some things will never be possible unless you are found in certain places at certain times. Verse 10, and behold, there met him. So in the black and dark night, let's see the kinds of people who will operate at that time and the people who would meet him. Let me take a step back here to say that if we're going to protect our emotions, we need wisdom. We need wisdom, the kinds of influences around our lives, the kinds of relationships. Enough of all this, oh, you know, I don't smoke hemp, but my friends, you know, they smoke, but me, no, and they understand that I do not smoke. You know, my friends club, and sometimes I just escort them, but not like I dance or anything. I just sit behind and try to, you know, laugh at other people's dances and all and so on. Hey, before you know it, your firewalls are going to go out. Before you know it, you're going to lose your guards. Before you know it, you will begin to embrace things that you once criticized. Before you know it, things will be okay. You won't know the difference between good and bad. You need wisdom if you're going to protect your emotions. You need wisdom. 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 Verse 10, and behold, there met him a woman with the attire of an harlot. You know, so I believe she was comfortable operating in the black and dark night. And of course, that was perfect timing to meet a man who lacked wisdom and understanding and subtle of heart. Hey, there are people who have mastered the arts of seduction. I believe that the moment she showed up in the attire of an harlot, this man already knew, hey, whoa. What do we have here? What do we have here? But you see, at this point, he's beginning to lose his discernment. At this point, his guards are down. At this point, his firewalls are going out. So he sees a woman in the attire of an harlot, but for him, maybe it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. And then the Bible says she was subtle of heart. She was crafty. She knew the arts. She was a seductress, a mistress of seduction. She had it. She smelt good. She looked good. She was fierce, intense, bold. Woo! Verse 11. She is loud and stubborn. I told you. She is loud and stubborn. Her feet abide not in her house. Now is she without, now in the streets, and lieth in wait at every corner. She was like life of the party. She's bold. She is the kind of woman that you must run from when you see her coming from a distance. Verse 13, look at her boldness. So she caught him and kissed him, and with an impudent face said unto him, hey, sweetie, sweetie pie, honey bunch, sugar cookie, I have peace offerings with me. This day have I paid my vows. Who? You need wisdom to protect yourself from people who are unusually bold in the arts and crafts of sexual perversion. She caught him. She caught him, violated him straight. Listen, even those of us with wisdom have had to run many times. A good run is better than a bad stand. I said it. A good run is better than a bad stand. When someone promises you they want to kiss you, brother, run. Run first. Run. Run. Joseph, the guy fled for his life. He left his clothes in the hands of Potiphar's wife. He ran. Don't stand and begin to say, let me see where this will end. You've seen where it has ended. Pregnancy. Is there anything else you want to see? Don't start saying, I want to see where this will end. I want to see where this will end. No. When you realize that someone wants to violate you emotionally, wants to violate you sexually, and I'm telling you, these people are bold. They are bold. They know how to use certain kinds of languages. They know how to act like, hey, you're just being childish and you're too afraid. Come on, this thing really doesn't matter. You do not want to be around them. And they just have a way of telling you that, hey, look, it's not a big deal. And I don't know if you've had some people tell you some kinds of things. Many years ago, this would be maybe 15 or 16 years ago, a young lady wanted counseling. And so I made an appointment. She came to my office and she said she wanted counseling. I said, so what do you want counseling for? And after taking a few deep breaths and hesitating a bit, she tells me that she needs me to help her. Okay, tell me, how exactly do you want me to help you? And she says, I can't take the thoughts of sleeping with you out of my mind. Of course, even if my heart was beating very hard, I wouldn't show it like, okay, that is lust. We need to deal with the spirit of lust. But I'm telling you, in my heart, boom, 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 boom. Not afraid I was going to fall. No, I wasn't ready to do as a believer things I didn't do as an unbeliever. I'm just telling you that the people who are, okay, now let's even imagine that that was an innocent person who was just being open and seeking for help. How about others? How about others? I know someone who came to my office many years ago, and this person started behaving funny. started behaving funny and just acting funny. Oh, can I sit on your laps and this, that? I'm like, what the heck? Are you okay? And continued with that stupid sexual behavior. And I said, are you trying to sleep with me? I said it out. I said, are you trying to sleep with me? And she says, no, I'm not trying to sleep with you. Oh, but if you ask me, I can't say no. Many are the afflictions of the righteous. Oh, Jesus, help me. These are very small matters. These two, I just told you, these are very small matters. What's my point? There are people who are bold, who will tell you exactly. They have no sense of courtesy, no sense of decency, no sense of restraint. They'll look you right in the eyes and tell you what they're imagining in their minds to do with you or to do to you. They are full of filth, dirt, sexually perverted, people whose minds are in every sense reprobate, and their mouths are so loose that they are ready to expose every evil that their minds conceive. We must develop strong emotional immunity to survive the day and the hour. Sometimes I drive, and when I drive and I see the way some people look at me and just keep their gaze on mine, and they are speaking with their body and speaking with their eyes, my God, what is going on? What is going on? What is going on? Boldness in evil, boldness in seduction, boldness in seduction, boldness in seduction. Oh, yeah. She caught him, verse 13, she caught him and kissed him straight up. This wasn't, can I kiss you? I will kiss you. I mean, I've had experiences. I've had experiences. I prayed for someone one time, and let's hold hands and pray. And I prayed, released the anointing and power of the Holy Ghost. And later on, the person said, that day you prayed for me, I almost kissed you. I'm like, Jesus, help the Son of Man. Help me. Help me. So I can relate with that song that says, I am here today because God helped me by His grace and mercy. Sincerely, by His grace and mercy, by His grace and mercy. There are people who have mastered the arts, who will tell you poems conceived from hell. Conceived from hell. Poems that can obstruct the sanity of your sexuality if you pay attention to them. And that's why you need to know who you are, know what you want, and of course choose the environment where you want to operate, because every environment you permit is an open door to certain experiences. Don't be surprised about certain experiences if you keep certain relationships in your life, or if you find yourself permitting certain environments. She caught him and kissed him, and with an impudent face said unto him, I have peace offerings with me. This day have I paid my vows. Now when I thought about this, right? When I thought about this day have I paid my vows. I said, someone is planning to violate your sexuality. You must protect yourself before he or she comes into close proximity with you. You must protect yourself. By protecting yourself, your character must be right. Your integrity must be reinforced. Your values must be intact. And look, you've got to ask yourself pertinent questions. Pertinent questions. Pertinent questions. If you really love a girl, like you like her, you admire her, and you have feelings for this girl, and she gives you an opportunity to sleep with her, are you going to sleep with her? If you really like this guy, I mean, you really like him, and he's that perfect picture for you. You see, one of the ways we can protect our sexuality is by being truthful to ourselves. if you realize that certain kinds of people seem to get your attention, certain kinds of people, certain kinds of characteristics, that's not bad by itself. That's not bad by itself. Now, but the day you find that kind of person who has the physical characteristics that get your attention, but the person's spirit is corrupted, then you are in trouble. Then you are in trouble, right? You are in trouble. So in as much as you may admire certain kinds of people, you still have to guard your heart. But at least no. I know a certain young man several years ago. This would be over 20 years ago in the university, who everyone he wanted to go out with had similar characteristics. Every single girl that this young man thought was good for a relationship that would end up in marriage, they all had some kind of characteristics. So it was obvious to me and a few others that this young man is definitely moved by this kind of characteristics, because everyone he talked about that he considered for a serious relationship, they seemed to have similar characteristics. My question, what kinds of people catch your attention? That's not bad, but know it and guard your heart, so that when the wrong people wear that dress, that outward appearance that catches your attention, you can still discern them and protect yourself. Because sometimes people are not able to protect themselves because they just fall for, I can tell you story after story after story after story. There's a certain girl that chased me one time many years ago, and eventually when she confessed her sins, she said, I just like guys that have this height. I just like this. I just like that. You're just the perfect picture. But I'm taken. I'm taken. I am taken. I'm taken. Check the next street. I'm taken. So what are those things that catch your attention? It can help you prepare to protect yourself, so you're not swept off your feet by just any kind of person who has the appearance of something but isn't it. And she said, I have peace offerings with me. This day have I paid my vows. It suggests to me that she had been planning this guy for a long time. Who's been planning you? And be careful. If someone's been planning you, look, when someone likes you in some kind of way, you usually know, especially when they're around you. You usually know. But you see, the challenge is sometimes our own curiosity wants to drive us to where, let me see how far this will go. Is it what I'm thinking? Protect yourself first. In driving, there's something called defensive driving. In defensive driving, your aim is to be safe, not to fight for a right or something. No, you want to protect yourself. You don't say, look, there's someone coming in my direction, but on my lane. Clearly, the person is driving in the wrong direction. I'm going to stay on that path because it's my lane and I am in the right direction. Hey, by the time the police arrest him, you might have broken limbs, or maybe your skull will be cracked in 7 different places or something. No, so you want to clear off to the shoulder while the crazy fellow goes his way. So defensive driving is very important, and you can apply that here, right? So someone seems to be liking you in certain kind of ways and you have noticed it. Protect yourself first. Don't just stand there and say, let me see how far this will end. Someone is trying to do something inappropriate and you want to see where this will end. It might end you in a place of regrets. All right, so you want to protect yourself first of all. I have paid my vows. Said, this day have I paid my vows. Meaning she may have vowed that this guy, I'll get him. This guy, I'll make sure I sleep with him. This girl, I'll make sure I sleep with her. And it worked. and it worked. There is every reason why the guy should have noticed that there was something wrong about this lady. First, she was dressed in the attire of a harlot, and he still kept her around him, right? And stayed around him so much that she was emboldened to do whatever it was that she did. And she says, this day have I paid my vows. Verse 15, therefore came I forth to meet thee. So you see that her actions were intentional. She came forth to meet him. How did she know that he was there? It is also possible that he had a habit of being around there at that time. She may have noticed that the guy liked nightlife. You know, good boy liking bad things. You know, that kind of thing. And some people seem to have a thing for innocent people. Some people feel like they are the ones that the devil ordained to, to corrupt the minds of innocent people. Some people, sincerely, I believe that the devils that move them are the devils for initiation, you know. So when they see an innocent guy, someone who doesn't know about sex, they feel obligated to give the person sex. You know, if the person doesn't know how to kiss, they feel obligated. They just have an obligation for evil, to initiate people into evil. She said, this day have I paid my vows. So she must have planned it. And the next verse shows us, she said, therefore came I forth to meet thee. So she wasn't just walking around here, didn't meet him by chance. It was planned, and he fell for it. Diligently to seek thy face. So she prepared and strategized and caught up with this guy. And I have found thee. Wow. So I vowed it, I strategized, I planned it, I schemed, I found you, and you fell for it. May the Lord protect us in the name of Jesus Christ. Verse 16, she takes it a notch higher. As I begin to close this up, I have decked my bed with coverings of tapestry. Wow, she had fine art. You know, one day we're going to talk about the secrets of the mistress. And every woman, for example, every woman, every married woman, and every young woman who's preparing to have a good home should learn the secrets of the mistress. The fact that this was used wrong doesn't mean that it cannot be used right. You know, sometimes I'm teaching in, weddings, and I'm talking about maybe romance or something, and I'll tease the bride and say, hey, you don't want to start wearing all those nighties that are torn in the armpits, or some very odd colors. It's supposed to be a nightie, but it's all black and the belt is red or something. You look like some kind of voodoo priestess. Or maybe all the buttons are fallen and everything. My goodness. You're not wearing a Halloween costume. That's supposed to be a sexy nightie for your hubby. Sexy nightie for your hubby. Okay? Let's not be, when it's time to sleep, that's not when you're thinking of buba or something. You're tying gele and walking around and sister, not so. You've got to be a hottie. Oh yeah? Look at me in the eyes. I said it. You've got to be a hottie for your husband. And of course, husband has got to be a hottie for his wifey. Husband has got to be a hottie for his wifey. That's nice. These are things that we need to do, we need to learn. I'm going to leave this message for another day. But this is very important because we get into some kind of religious mode and we're trying to act like, I have a challenge with some spouses who, when their spouse is, making moves, making smoothie moves, asking for sex or, trying to make passes or trying to get at them, they are acting surprised like, what is wrong with you? And their body language is telling their spouse, my friend, be holy. My friend, you like sex too much. Please think about other things or something. selfishness. Very bad. Very bad. Very bad. You have to know how to play. You have to know how to set the stage right. I read one book and I'm going to recommend it for people who are married and people who are getting ready to get married. Sex Begins in the Kitchen. Great book. You might think, oh, it just talks about sex, sex, sex. No, it's a great book. Very intelligent book. Sex Begins in the Kitchen. Also, I like to recommend Total Woman. Powerful book. Powerful book. Total Woman is a book I've read more than once. It's a classic. Very old book, but it's a classic, right? So let's see this woman here. And every woman needs to learn from this for good, though. And she says, I have decked my bed with coverings of tapestry. So even her bedspread was planned. The bedspread was planned. What are you doing with a dark brown bedspread? Huh? Dark brown bedspread. Or red, just complete red, like the blood of bulls and goats. Come on, man, do something. I've decked my bed with coverings of tapestry. Little things can inspire romance. From lights. Hey, please, can you put this lights out and put this one and the other one on, and maybe just the lights from there. You know, yeah, this lights. Okay, they can't see the lights in the grooves up there. I have some beautiful golden lights in the grooves up here, you know. Okay, you want to just tilt it a little bit? Okay, just tilt it and let's see. Beautiful. Let's cut the other ones. Yeah, just the two. Okay. Beautiful. So you see that? I have all of these beautiful lights here. And then I have the lampstands with light shining. Now, we could even have more colors. Make your space look good. There are some hours of just Mr. and Mrs. that should carry the kind of ambience that can inspire possibilities, can inspire travels into other orbits and planets. Have you been to Venus before? Oh, come on. Help me now. Help me. Let us get back to where we were. I have decked my bed with coverings of tapestry, with carved works, with fine linen of Egypt. Wow. So you see that she picked these things on purpose. She picked everything on purpose. And everything was planned out to create an aura, a suggestion, an ambience that can permit what her intentions were. And you see, I'm going to say to every married man, if you want possibilities in the nighttime, then you've got to sow seeds in the daytime. Seeds of nice words, seeds of checking up, seeds of, would you need something? I stopped by the store. I was wondering if you need something. You asked for that and that and that the other day. I've seen one. I hope this is the type you like. Be thoughtful. Thoughtfulness in the daytime is a good seed for harvests in the nighttime. Send me an offering later. Okay? Now, verse 17, very powerful. I have perfumed my bed with myrrh, aloes, and cinnamon. Wow. So even the fragrances were chosen. Dios Sauvage. Chanel Gabrielle. Then there's Coco Chanel. Dolce & Gabbana. I like the one. You may have heard me mention it. And there's one very sweet one. Please, can you open my bag? Let me show them something very sweet, very sweet, very sweet, very sweet. You need to know how to handle these things. Black orchid. Let's see. Let me show you something really nice here. This is Versace Arrows. I have a nice Turkish perfume I bought from Istanbul. This is beautiful as well. See this? This is beautiful. Not too expensive, maybe just a little over $100. And you can get this one. This one too. This is White Orchid. And the designer is Atelier Rebol. I used it first, I think, on a Turkish Airways flight. They literally had one of it, not this particular one, but they had one of it in the toilet, and oh my God, I loved it. So when I got the chance, I got this from Istanbul. Then this is Versace Arrows. So when you combine both, you're going to be smelling like the gates of heaven, you know? Oh my God, the gates of heaven, the gates of heaven. A little behind your ears, very little behind your ears, you know, and somewhere around your neck, and just very little. You don't have to shh. That's why you should buy a good perfume, just and it stays there all day. Where were we again? Okay. Some people need to send me an offering tonight. That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. Okay. I think I should have that session for married people very, very soon. Very, very, very soon. Very, very soon. Is someone screen recording this? I like to see all the comments. I always feel bad that I get busy talking and I can't read all the comments, all the lovely comments that you guys put out here. That's really not nice. You know, someone has got to find a way around it. Were you screen recording everything?
Yes.
I want to read all these comments. And of course, we can post what you screen recorded. Okay, so maybe before I end it, I'll make sure I read a lot of comments. If you haven't followed me on Instagram, this is a good time to follow me as I begin to round up here. Click the follow button. And on YouTube as well, I am slowly but surely building my YouTube channel. You can hit the notification bell and subscribe. Now I'm building very good content for that page. You will love it. For that channel, you would love it. I have perfumed my bed with myrrh, aloes, and cinnamon. You see, from ancient times, the sages understood the place of perfume. Do you know the gifts that were brought to Jesus? Gold, purchasing power. Frankincense and myrrh were fragrances. They were fragrances. If Jesus wore a nice perfume, I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what you're doing. Especially Mrs. and Mr. Nothing puts off more like a bad body smell, right? A bad body smell. Or maybe smelly beddings and pillows, and you know, an environment that looks unromantic and all. I would save it for that day. But she said, I have perfumed my bed with myrrh, aloes, and cinnamon. You can create an experience right in your bedroom, husband and wife, right? And then after telling him all that she has done, the kinds of beddings, the tapestry of Egypt, and then the kind of perfume, the designer perfumes that she used on the bed and all. She said, come, let us take our fill of love until the morning. This is seduction. Like this guy, he was literally grabbed by the balls, and in such a manner that, man, he just couldn't get off this gridlock. Okay, so come, let us take our fill of love until the morning. Let us solace ourselves with loves. Wow. Loves. You see, love with an S at the end. Love that is pluralized, right? Loves, many dimensions. She was a bad girl, a very bad girl. Verse 19, for the good man is not at home. So she was married or in a relationship. He's gone a long journey. He had taken a bag of money with him and will come home at the day appointed. Verse 21, with her much fair speech. What if we had fair speech to use at home? I think that if we hear enough fair speech, and if we use enough fair speech, there's not going to be a lot of fair speech out there that will move us, especially as married people. And as a single person too, begin to prepare your mind to where you don't just fall for things. He looks you in the eyes and says, hey, see, I have a confession to make. When I met you yesterday, I lost something. And then you're wondering what he lost. And he says, I lost my breath. I struggled all night. I hoped to see today, and just to see you one more time to tell you exactly how I feel about you. Can I touch you? Just hold your hand and I'm satisfied. You come across to me like an angel. An angel. It's difficult to believe that I have traversed the earth the last 35 years. There's just something about you. I would kill to kiss your lips. He's a murderer. He's told you. He's told you. He's told you. Don't start rejoicing and thinking that that's a compliment. He's a murderer. He just told you that he is a murderer. With her much fair speech, she caused him to yield. You remember the story of Tamar and Amnon? It was his speech that overpowered her. With her much fair speech, so we need speech, emotional speech immunity. We need to install the software that protects our hearts and minds from emotional speeches. With her much fair speech, she caused him to yield. With the flattering, so all these were lies. All these were lies. I've never met a girl like you in the whole wide world. Take a deep breath. He's lying. He is lying. With the flattering of her lips, she forced him. He goeth after her straightway as an ox. So you see, his guards were down, his firewalls were out, and now he was on the leash of her seduction and deception. He goeth after her straightway as an ox goeth to the slaughter, or as a fool to the correction of the stocks, till a dart strike through his liver, as a bird hasted to the snare, and knoweth not that it is for his life. Hearken unto me now, O ye children, and attend unto the words of my mouth. Let not thine heart decline unto her ways. Go not astray in her parts, for she had cast down many wounded. Yeah. You know, every time she tells you, oh, you're the only one, you know, you're so unique, I've been da. No, she has cast down many wounded. She's got history with many others. And don't forget, she even told you that one has traveled. So she's using you as as a substitute, temporary substitute. Yeah, many strong men have been slain by her. Strong men. This is the part that humbles me. Many strong men have been slain by her. So the wisdom here is avoid it. The wisdom here is don't even allow it within your space. The wisdom here is to not even allow curiosity lead you to where I'm not interested. I just want to see how far she will go. I'm not interested. I just want to see what he's up to. No, you already know what he's up to. The Bible says that a prudent man foreseeth evil afar off, and he hideth himself. Meaning from a distance you can make observations and discernments that enable you to make decisions, take positions that can protect you. Many strong men have been slain by her. Her house is the way to hell. Yes, she smells good. She smells edible. She's mastered the arts of the lips, the eyes, stately walks. She knows how to expose just the erotic parts that put you under pressure below the belt. She knows how to squeeze the life from the testicles, and she knows it. But her house is the way to hell, going down to the chambers of death. And this can be applied the other way round as well. You need wisdom to protect your emotions. You need wisdom for emotional security. You need wisdom to keep yourself from the rebellious sexual behavior. There is an extreme energy of rebellious sexual behavior on our streets. People are bold to do some kind of stuff that you would never have believed that in the daytime someone will do. Who are you and what do you want? Who are you and what do you want? And I think that we have to control our own curiosity too, because sometimes I see innocent boys and innocent girls act like it's a compliment for someone to express extreme sexual behavior towards them. You know how someone looks at you and just says, "Why do you look like you'll be so sweet? Would you give me an opportunity?" Look, I'm an adult, married, I have 3 children, but I'll tell you that this thing is everywhere. While doing my PhD coursework, I had this lecturer that, sincerely speaking, I can't even say may God forgive her. You know, it looks like I just want to say straight out, may God punish her because she is bad. Bad. This is someone who would be just probably a few years younger than my mother. You know, very loose. I can't even say here. The first thing she said to me when she spoke to me the first time, you know, she was going to take us some course and we show up. Yeah, because, you know, PhD classes, if it's the units, the unit might just have a few people. It's only in the general courses that it's so many of us. But if it's a unit course, you're just, you know. And we get into this woman's office, and what she said to me one-on-one, you know, what she said to me one-on-one, I can only say off camera and with a sense of embarrassment. Off camera, I can say it, but with a sense of embarrassment. I would be very embarrassed to even say it secretly that this is what this woman said. I think I only managed to say to a close friend in class, who's like a sister to me. I told her, I said, imagine this woman, look at what she said. Now, this is the woman who taught us that pornography is okay, that when you have children, that it's good to allow them explore. And this is the woman who could say in class with all of us adults that if she, Jesus help me. Now, Jesus help me. Jesus help me. I won't even say that part as well. But anyways, in the course of everything, I travel out of the country, right? And of course, I would usually obtain permission, like, okay, I'm not going to be around for such and such a time. And when I came back, I probably even brought a gift. You know, this is my teacher, and of course, I brought a gift, and she raised her voice. She called my name. She said, I told you to buy me a pant. Now, this is the mildest of all. The other ones, I won't tell you. I won't tell you. I was embarrassed. Like, I felt like the ground should open and I'll be swallowed up. I was embarrassed. I looked, and there were people in her office seated, waiting for her to attend to them. And she says that with a loud voice, and I'm embarrassed. I'm shocked, and I'm looking around like, Ma, you can, you know, with my body language, I'm saying there, why do you have to say this? And she laughs. One whimsical, evil laughter. A very bad woman. Very bad woman. But people are bad. People are bad. People are bad. So if you don't protect yourself, Okay, someone asked what portion of the Bible we've been reading. That would be Proverbs chapter 7 from verse 4 to 27. Proverbs chapter 7 verse 4 to 27. Thank you, thank you, thank you guys. Thank you. If you haven't followed me already, please click the follow button. Bye-bye.